Welcome back to Michigan Storm Chasers. My name is Ryan. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time watching, be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons. We do Michigan weather content year-round, 365, 24/7 here on the channel. Also on Facebook as well at Michigan Storm Chasers. Feel free to follow along as we cover Michigan weather beginning to end. We have an updated forecast package to share with you guys. We are tracking that midweek snowstorm, as well as a potential snowstorm for the end of the week as well, around the Saturday time frame. We'll briefly touch on that here in just a few minutes. Let's go ahead and start, as always, with how the model is going to play out. GFS model today is what we're going to go with. We're going to run this through. Currently across the state, we have some light snow showers. Some of you guys reported snow this morning, light in nature. That was expected here on this Tuesday. That's going to move out. It's going to dry us out between tonight and also the first half of tomorrow. We have a system passing off to our south as expected. That's going to continue off into the east coast. And then turn your attention to the west of us, Missouri, Iowa, Kansas, Oklahoma. Here comes our system for Wednesday evening. It's going to start in Michigan at this model time at 1 p.m. here. It kind of moved up just a tad bit, but it will take a second for the atmosphere to become saturated. So snow may be falling above our heads for a few hours, but it may take, again, a few hours for it to actually fall and reach the ground. So start time, 4 or 5 o'clock or so. Move this forward here to 4 o'clock in the afternoon Wednesday. You can see that snow is overspread much of the state here. It'll likely start snowing in the southwest part, west side of the state here, around that 4 o'clock time frame. And then it's going to get heavier into the evening hours here at 7 o'clock. The heavier, darker blues there moving into the state. Continuing into 11 o'clock here, actually 10 o'clock to be exact. Please note that the heavier snow swath, current thinking, is in the south central part of Michigan up through the thumb area. That's going to be your heaviest swath of snow. Also, keep in mind the mixed precip is going to be very close. Since yesterday, we've seen a jog back to the southeast, which has pushed most, not all, but most of that mixed precip concern out of the state. So icing concerns are going down. Heavier snow concerns are kind of going up here. As we continue into the overnight hours, that snow continues to be heavier in nature. This is 1 a.m. Here is 4 a.m. And by sunrise, the system is now moving out of the state, and we're left with some snow showers by the time we get to noon, which is right here on their day on Thursday. So start time mid to late afternoon Wednesday, end time roughly around that Thursday time period. Looking at the European model, backing it up here for the snowfall, there's a system to our south. Turn attention to the west. Here comes our system for Wednesday evening. It's going to dump a good, pretty much the thumping statewide here. The European says the heaviest snow swath. This is the European model, by the way. Heaviest snow swath here from roughly Kalamazoo up through the thumb toward West Branch, Alpena perhaps areas, back down through Muskegon. That general area of heavier snow there is what we're kind of expecting, and also what we're kind of seeing on the sister models like the Canadian, the GFS. So we're going with a good forecast here. We did adjust from yesterday slightly. Let's go ahead and dive into our full forecast package, starting with the snowfall map here. We're going 5 to 9. We did up it yesterday from 4 to 7. It is now 5 to 9 and adjusted just slightly to account for latest model trends. We're going 5 to 9. Just generally speaking, most places should fall between that range. Further southeast, we did up that from 2 to 5, I believe, to 3 to 6. That is because we are expecting more so in the way of snow down there. So Adrian, Ann Arbor, Detroit, Port Huron, you should remain pretty much all snow, perhaps just a brief mixing period there. But the heaviest swath should remain just off to the west or north of you there in far southeast Michigan. Further north, it's going to be a little bit more uncertain. We're going to have to adjust one more time tomorrow if need be. But 3 to 6, we're going to stick with our gut here and say that we're not going to see much in the way of any higher totals up toward like Gaylord and Traverse City areas. But we could see that 5 to 9 zone fluctuate just a bit. So for example, if you're close to it, Mount Pleasant, Grand Rapids, Stanton, perhaps even back through Holland or Muskegon, up through Mayo, West Branch, we didn't say West Branch already. You guys may shift into that 5 to 9 zone depending on how models look tomorrow. It's going to fluctuate just a bit, but overall speaking, the further north you go, the less snow is going to be falling up there. So a general statewide 3 to 6 with isolated 5 to 9 there in the pink areas is the forecast. Up further north in the UP, 2 to 4 in the Sault Ste. Marie, Cedarville area by Mackinac as well. Further west for the majority of the UP, 1 to 3 there in aqua color. And then if you're really far west toward Ironwood, you guys are going to be in the trace to 1 inch zone there, as this is not lake effect. This is more so of a synoptic snow system. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move into our ice forecast. The icing, we're going to keep it conservative. This is going to be what we call a conservative forecast. We don't really expect much in the way of ice across these areas, but some models do show potential for icing. So we want to highlight that potential just in case. A nice layer of ice could be a possibility across much of southeast Michigan, perhaps as far west as like Coldwater, perhaps Niles as well. That should, generally speaking, stay to the east side. But we should just note that some minor icing is a possibility come Wednesday evening into Thursday morning. As far as time frame goes, for start time, we did adjust this map. We bumped it up. 5 to 8 p.m. now is your start time in the southwest part of the state, or the central part of the UP up there as well. In white zones, 5 to 8, again, is your general speaking precipitation start times. Going further inland for a good portion of the state, 6 to 9 p.m., your first snowflakes will start falling. Further to the east, in green, 7 to 10 p.m. And then if you're really far up there towards Sault Ste. Marie, 8 to 11. So not much change there, but just minor fluctuations across the state. 5 to 8 p.m. or so, by that mid to late afternoon time frame, snow may start to fall here in portions of the state. With that being said, we have a few updates here. First off, overnight with that southeast shift we mentioned, they have added winter storm watches for southeast Michigan, Monroe, Lenawee, Washtenaw, Wayne, Jackson, Hillsdale, Branch, Calhoun, St. Joseph, all added to that winter storm watch. These may turn into advisories. They're not all going to turn into warnings. For a warning, winter storm warning to be exact, they want to see roughly around 6 or more inches in a shorter period of time, which some places will exceed that criteria, but not all of these counties will exceed the criteria. So don't be shocked, don't be disappointed if you go from a winter storm watch to a winter weather advisory. That is quite typical here in winter. But yes, these will be upgraded later today, more than likely, if probably around 3 o'clock or so, I'd say, but at the very latest, Wednesday morning, we'll wake up to advisories and warnings issued across the state. Last but not least, we have the panic meter. We are now into the bread and milk warning. We have high confidence this storm is going to put down a nice blanket of snow that's going to be impactful, primarily to travel. I'm not really seeing much in the way of any power outage impacts, anything like that. But overall speaking, the bread and milk warning is there. Start preparations now. Get your food stocked up. Make sure you have blankets ready. Just typical winter storm preparations here in Michigan. This is not anything this is not anything new. We're pretty much used to this. Although we haven't had a good snowstorm widespread like this in a couple of years, it seems like. Overall speaking, this is going to be quite impactful, especially to travel here in Michigan. Speaking of impacts, go ahead and finish on this. I don't have a graphic pulled up for this, but for the impacts, wind is not going to be a huge concern, but this snow will be a lighter and fluffier type. So it's only going to take, 15, perhaps 25 mile per hour wind gusts could blow some snow around and cause low visibility in spots. That would be our main concern. But overall speaking, no power outages that are widespread are expected. Most of the impacts with the system, again, will be to travel. We'll have all the travel maps and impact arrows coming on our Facebook page later today and also tomorrow morning, so stay tuned for those. With that being said, I'm going to give a shout out to today's sponsor of the video, Pro Powder, above my head there, based out of the South Haven area. They do powder coating needs for residential and commercial properties. Feel free to give them a call, 269-637-8722. And thank you, as always, to Pro Powder for sponsoring today's YouTube video here at Michigan Storm Chasers. Catch us this afternoon, 3 or 4 o'clock or so, for a briefing on this, and we'll also keep you guys updated with posts on our page throughout this event. You guys stay safe, stay warm, and travel safe if you're out on the roads during this winter storm event.